Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's Fiverific Live Craft and Chat. If you were on my Monday stream over my other channel, you would realize I accidentally used that lead-in on the other channel, which makes zero sense. There's no crafting over there. There's no crafting whatsoever. Today's stream is going... Stop that. Today's stream is going to be making our new face washer. Now, mine's still blocking, but this is what we're making. So this is our face washer. This is our Tunisian face washer. It's using all of the skills that we have learnt over the last few weeks. Now, let me know in the chat, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Do you have your hooks? Do you have your yarn? That's going to fall down. Please don't fall down. Do you have everything that you need to get going? Sally, that is crazy. 41 months. Wow, that is so crazy. Let's have a look here. Good morning, Leanne. It's great to see lots of yarn balls floating around. I love it. I love it. It looks very fancy. Thank you. It's not fancy. This is the thing. If you've been following along from the last few weeks, this is not fancy. This is just how it is. Thank you. I did have a haircut and I'm much happier now. It was getting a little bit wild man from Borneo and I couldn't cope. The face washer looks brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to have to jump in pretty quick because look, I'm not going to lie to you. It took me longer than 2 hours to make this face washer. So we are not going to get the whole lot done today in this stream, but we'll get far enough through it that you should have the confidence to continue on your own. Now, in the description, there is a link to a Ravelry free pattern. I have written it up. Now, I need to, I am not a designer, okay? I just need to get that out there straight away. Not a designer. And so my pattern writing skills are not my strong suit. Let's just go with that. It should be clear enough. It should be clear. And we're going to go through it in this live stream to start with. So we have written instructions and charted instructions. So hopefully it's enough and you guys can see where we're going with it. So I've got my triple beverages today. I've got water, I've got coffee, and I have tea. I think I'm going to need all three today. I have a little bit of a headache, but also I'm a little bit stressed because Abby, I am thinking about her right now. She is off to the dentist for the first time by herself. So she is getting, she went in the other day, but it was just to get fitted for a mouth guard. But they were like, hey, when you come back to pick that mouth guard up, we think you need a checkup. So she's in there to get her clean and check up by herself. And it is she's nearly 20. She's 20 tomorrow. So it is Abby's 20th birthday tomorrow, and it is her first time going by herself. And I know a lot of us have done all this stuff by ourselves for a long, long, long time, but this is her first time. So if my watch pings or something happens, Abby's just giving me blow by blow of how she's going. She wanted me to come along. And I sort of there were two things. One, she made the appointment for 10 a.m. on a Thursday. And secondly, at some stage, she's going to have to go to the dentist by herself. And this is just a standard, or hopefully just a standard clean. And so hopefully nothing worse. So cross your fingers for it. Happy birthday for tomorrow for Abby. I will pass that on, Knit Spin Girls. I will. So I'm a little, my brain is in two places. So today is not a great day to have your brain in two places. The other thing that I've done, of course we have to do this. New setup, because I wanted to be able to show what I'm working on as well as the pattern, okay, at the same time. So I've got a screen share of my iPad. Hopefully that will be fine. I don't know if it'll work. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Leanne is also wishing Abby a happy 20th. I know, it's hard to believe she's 20. Knitspin Girl says it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Tamantha. I hope you have an awesome one. Gosh, we need to get some cakes on screen for Knitspin Girls for her birthday today. So I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Also, we do have the Lulu. Oh, we had the Lulu. He's gone. I don't know where he went. Louie! He was here just a minute ago. Like I set his camera up and everything. We've got the cakes going. The cakes going for Tamantha and for Abby as well. Happy birthday to both of you ladies. This is cool. Loving it. Just absolutely loving it. And balloons. Got birthday balloons and party poppers. Go, Leanne. Oh, dear. So, yeah. So, Tamantha and Abby having birthdays this week. Tamantha's is today. Abby's is tomorrow. So, that is so very cool. All right. Now, a little bit of housekeeping before we kick off. Today is the first Thursday of the month here in Australia. It is IKEA Day. It is the day if you want to come and hang out and craft in person with me. I'll be up at the IKEA food court. The Caffeinated Crafters will be there. We're going to be just hanging out, eating meatballs, doing craft, hogging up the back corner of the food court like we do. So if you want to come along, I'll be there from about 6 p.m. onwards, and you are more than welcome to join us. We were having a discussion this morning about how long Caffeinated Crafters had been going for, and it's been going for, it was 8 years in February, which was really like, I was like, really, is it that long? The answer is yes, it is. 8 years in February, Caffeinated Crafters has been going on. Last night, my husband was asking me how long I'd been live streaming for, and he's like, it's got to be 10 years. And I'm like, no, it's not 10 years yet. It'll be 10 years next year. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of milestones kicking over. So lots going on when you've been doing stuff for a long time. Okay, so yeah, we've got Caffeinated Crafters tonight at IKEA at 6. So yeah, wait a second. Knitspin Girls bought herself the Yeti in the new Blurple color. Oh, Abby's got a water bottle in that color, and it is so nice. Is it the ultramarine violet or whatever? Like that? Like seriously, Blurple, right? It is Blurple. It is totally Blurple, and I want it. I want it too. But I don't actually need another Yeti. Like I have enough Yetis. Like I would like another cup just so we have 4. I got a thing, like, I love odd numbers, but when it comes to coffee cups, I like to have at least 4. So, and Abby's like, you need another water bottle. I'm like, no, I'm happy with my water bottle. When it goes, then I'll get another. Although every now and again, I think the littler ones that she gets might be nice for, like, throwing in my handbag. This one's quite heavy. But I love that. Yeah, nice self-gifting. I love that. Absolutely. So I don't know if Abby's taken it with her, if it's in the kitchen. Should I go and check? Let me know if you want me to go and see if we've got it here so I can have a look. I don't know if it's here or not. It could be with Abby because it is hers, or it could be in the kitchen. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm so tempted, Leanne. I really tempted. So yeah, it is a good color. I don't think there's any other housekeeping. Is there any other housekeeping that I was supposed to remember and that I didn't remember? Because I mean, that's never happened before, has it? No. Yes. Yes, totally happened before. So let me know if you've jumped over to Ravelry and grabbed the pattern. So just pop yes in the chat if you've grabbed the pattern for today's craftiness. You will need it. You won't be able to just follow along with me. It's a bit too detailed for that. I mean, you possibly could, but I'll be constantly referring to the pattern. So If you've got it handy, you can follow along as well. There's both, it's a PDF, like it's free, you don't have to pay. And it's, but it's Ravelry download as a PDF. So you can add it to your queues, you can add it to your projects. It has no photo as yet, and specifically because A, this guy's still blocking, and B, I wanted today to be a surprise, so I hadn't added photos in anywhere of what it looked like. So, yeah, yep. And like, in all seriousness, I just totally forgot to block it. And I went to take photos yesterday and I was just like, oh, this looks awful. This definitely needs blocking. And then I blocked it, but it's, you know, it takes too long. Leanne says, my hooks have arrived, but I need to go back and learn the first 3 stitches first. Leanne, you could have been doing the first 3 with the little samples on a standard hook, but okay, that's cool. That's cool. But now you get to see why we've learnt those little projects. Now, one thing I do want to say, and I'm just going to pop it up here. While the pattern is free and while all these tutorials are free, if you've been enjoying it and you would like to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can shout me a coffee. I've got my coffee link over here. There we go. Coffee link. I want to make it free for everybody, but if you are enjoying it and you think it's worth it, throw a coffee in. That would be absolutely amazing. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready to start? Like, let me know in the chat. Just write start if you're ready for me to start. I'm just going to drink coffee until someone writes it. Okay. I have noticed, I've just gotten a message here asking about the quality of the video. And I've also noticed something here on this end as well, and I don't know what the problem is. I can't change anything once I start streaming, but I'm supposed to be streaming in 1080p. Supposed to be. But I've also noticed an issue, and I don't know what it is. I will need to go in and check it. I wasn't sure if you guys were noticing it or not, but it looks like maybe some of you are. Alrighty, let's jump in. Let's get this guy set up. You get your hooks, you get your yarn. Oh, one thing I will talk about before we get started is in the pattern, I have not specified yarns or hooks. On the Ravelry information page, I've put a little explanation as to why. But I do want to say it again, which is the which is like just with Tunisian crochet, as we've mentioned before, the whole needing to understand that Tunisian fabric is so much thicker than standard crochet fabric. Okay, standard crochet fabric tends to have about 3 strands of yarn per stitch, like 3 loops of yarn making up a stitch. Tunisian can have like up to 7 or even more. So we are getting a lot chunkier fabrics out of Tunisian crochet. So you need to be going up a decent amount. Okay, you need to be jumping it up to, like, if you're using a yarn that recommends a 4 mil hook, I would hit a 5.5 mil or a 6 mil to see if you like the fabric that it creates. You're gonna need to do some little swatchings. Different fabrics with different hooks and different crocheters are all gonna produce something slightly different. Okay, So making sure that you're going to be making the fabric that you want is a really, really big part of this. Then we've got going over into the yarn aspect of it. The reality is you can really use whatever yarn you want, right? So for me personally, I think for face washers and dishcloths and things like that, I think a natural cellulose fiber is the way to go. So cotton, linen, excuse me, bamboo, like any of those sorts of guys, like that, they will all work a treat. And especially if you're putting it on your face. Like I just think if we're making something special, like for ourselves, we should splurge a little bit. And even like an inexpensive cotton feels really nice as a face cloth. You can use an acrylic cotton blend. Some are better than others. Let's just leave it at that. Some are better than others, and you use whatever you want to use, because I'm actually not the craft police. And while I have preferences, especially for my own skin, because it's stupidly sensitive, your skin may actually not care. So you get to use whatever you want to use. You get to use whatever hook size you want to use to get the drape and the fabric that you want to get out of it, which is why I specifically haven't said it, but I've given some guidelines. Alrighty, let us jump over to here. There we go. This is the written pattern, okay? And now I've tried to make it pretty basic and pretty clear and do some like repeat these rows sorts of jobbies. But in the written pattern, there is also a link to the, like that link there, that goes to a Google Sheets document that gives you the chart. Okay, so if this chart's too small or it doesn't make sense, I did copy this chart over that doesn't have the stitch names in each stitch. If you go to the Google link here, it'll actually you get to choose if you want text or no text. So you get to choose. There's 2 tabs. I personally prefer the text, but I don't know what you like. But it does make it look cluttered and a bit scary looking, but it's just naming each stitch, like TSS, Tunisian Simple Stitch, TPS, Tunisian Pearl Stitch, TKS, Tunisian Knit Stitch. So we've just got all our stitch names in there, okay? So that's the hard part there, but we've got to start here at the start with our foundation row, which we're going to be chaining 33 and then doing our standard pickups. So let me know if you're working along with me today and if I need to, like, you know, keep that in mind. I've got to work out a happy balance for that and my hands. So let me know, like, if oh, hello, camera's decided to be helpful. Oops. You wish you were joining in? I wish you were too, Kelly. But I get it. I get it. You're at work. So today I'm using a worsted weight cotton. It's Dishy from Knit Picks. And I'm using my 6mm catch hook with a Knit Pro cable on it. Now, I don't know how much of the cable I'll actually need. Something I was doing with the other one. Have I got it handy? No, I don't have it handy. Oh, yes, I do. I was actually just shoved one of these sorts of, like, because that's where the cable goes, right? But I just grabbed one of my needle protectors and I just literally just poked it over the end. And then I literally used it like that. It just kept the stitches on. It was just like, you know, I gave it a bit of welling, it stayed on, but it was just enough, like, to do the sample face washer. But I'm using slightly thicker yarn and slightly bigger hook, and I just don't know if oops, sorry, I just don't know if the, I wish it would zoom back. Please zoom back. I don't know if it will actually, you know, if it's long enough this time around. Now, I lost track of how many chains I'm doing because I started talking. So I'm going to pause and count. So if you're counting, maybe mute me for just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I needed 33. Oh no, I got to count again. I was counting. Oh dear. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I did a few too many. I was off on another planet. Off on another planet. There we go. Alrighty. Oops, I put my hook in the wrong way. I wish I was joining. I was thinking I could use Tunisian hooks for regular crochet. Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. There is nothing stopping you. Like, there is no reason that these cannot be used for regular crochet. You don't even need to put a little stopper on the end because your hand will stop anything. You can absolutely use these as regular hooks. They're very versatile. Very, very versatile. Alrighty. Okay, so we are doing chain 33, and then from the second stitch at the back, pull up a loop across. So that's 1. Oops. That's 1, that's 2. Trying to keep the hands in the shot and be able to see them myself is actually a lot harder than I anticipated today. I'll be able to know for sure if I can get rid of this cable once I've got these chains on, because it actually annoys me, it like rubbing around the table like that. I don't know if you can even hear it, but I can. I can also feel the tension when it gets caught on the edge of my mouse pad. Now, because I botched up and recounted and did some jiggery pokery, I may actually have the wrong number of stitches here and not even know it yet. I'll soon find out. So is anybody working along with me today in this, or am I just working off the pattern and going at my own speed? Oh, I know your answer, Sal. Absolutely, I do. But thanks for dropping into the chat anyway. I sometimes I wonder if the chat's working, or if I've frozen, or you know, something. Now my question for you guys is this shot clear? So the shot of my face is not clear, but is this shot clear? So trying to work out if it's a camera issue or if it's a stream issue. Knitspin Girl says, okay, done. Arguing with my printer and ready to start. Okay, awesome. So we're just chaining 33 and picking up our back loops, just like we've done with all our other samples. Okay, so it's a camera issue. All right, I need to pull the camera out and have a good look at it. Because I've obviously just clicked something. Because some settings got changed, like in all the backwards and forwards and opening it up and closing it to make sure I got all the ants out. I definitely tapped something and I didn't know what I tapped, but obviously it's something to do with the video quality. Now I split that one. I've got to go back in and redo it. There we go. This one's clearer. Okay, so it is the camera. You're blaming the ants? Yeah, I'm blaming the ants too. I'll have to pull the camera and have a good look at it. I mean, the camera is starting to get, you know, aged. There's always that as well. There's always that issue that the gear just doesn't last forever. But I think in this instance, user error, and I've clicked something I shouldn't have in trying to set the camera back up after. So I'll go through all the settings and see if I accidentally changed something in my ant killing phase. All right, I'm thinking I'm going to be able to take the end off this and pop a little, you know, end stopper on the end of this hook, because I'm nearly here. And while they're squished on for sure, they are there. All right, let's have a count here. It's clear except for when it's not in focus. Yep. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 33. Oh, it worked. I got the right number. Yes. Should I actually be so happy about that? Yes. Do I have a picture of what the washcloth will look like at the end? I do, but I haven't put it anywhere public just yet because, you know, it's for you guys. Can you zoom out, little camera? You can't, so I've got to manually pull you out. There we go. That's what it looks like. No, don't do that. I put you where I wanted you. All right, fine. Don't be helpful. Let me just. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's what it's going to look like. So it's just having a little bit of some blocking time, but I did purposefully. I didn't want. Oops. I didn't want photos of it all over the shop just yet because I wanted it to be a surprise. Yeah. Alrighty. So in our second row of the chart here, or sorry, our first row, which is our first, we've had our foundation row, and now we're onto our first row of Tunisian. So I am actually going to move over to the chart now. Now, you don't need to, all right? You can read through this and it makes total sense. But for me, I find it easier working from a chart. So you are more than welcome to stick with the written pattern. Now, it's supposed to be the same, all right? I made 2 face washers. One's in the bathroom. I've made 2 face washers and they look the same to me, but I haven't had third-party testing, all right? So I'm going to just go to the chart here. Okay, so I've got LOH, okay? Oh, well, before we start the chart, we've actually got to go and do our return pass. So let's get in and do the return. Oh, actually, before I do that, I can totally ditch this thing. Give me a needle here. I'm going to take this cable off. Buy cable. And are we going to use a unicorn? No, let's use a bat. I have a bat right here. I have a little girl and a bat. I think it would be in poor taste to use a little girl's face. So I will use the bat. Go on there, little bat. Ha ha ha! We have a bat. All right, it's a bat cat. Bat cat. Oh yeah, when you wind a cable off, the yarn has to go somewhere, doesn't it? Numpty. All right, That's me. That's me. All right. So yeah, after the stream today, and after I'm happy with the blocking, I'll go in and add photos to the actual pattern, as well as to the Ravelry listing. Okay, so yarn over, draw through 1, draw through 2, and draw through 2, all the way to the bottom of the jar, just like we've done for all of our other workshops. This first foundation row and return pass have so far been identical. Okay, now I'm not going to say that all Tunisian foundation rows and return passes are the same, because they are not. We've just been doing similar ones so that it's easier in this process. And I also know of designers who actually turn their work, so Tunisian's not always done on the front either. So lots of different designers do different things. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into the settings, Vampire. I've definitely clicked something there. So yeah, I don't know what the go is. And it's just the face cam, so it's not a stream-wide issue. It's just the hardest camera for me to work out what's wrong with. Like, let's be honest, it is legit the hardest camera for me to work it out. Okay, all right, so now we've got LOH. Now, I don't know if this is a standard Tunisian thing, but I figured because we're a beginner's like project, I wanted to specify that we do have a loop on our hook. So this is our first stitch of every row, right? And it does count in our count. So I did want to make sure that we knew it existed. So we have our loop on our hook. Then our first stitch is a Tunisian simple stitch. So in we go. And then we have our purl stitch. And we do simple purl all the way to the end. Simple purl, simple purl. So this is our honeycomb stitch. Okay, so simple purl, all the way to the end is us setting up our honeycomb stitch. Now, the reason I used the honeycomb stitch here is so we didn't have any curling on our face washer. So if you look at your samples that you've already made, you'll notice that your existing samples of your simple stitch and your knit stitch, they both curl at least a little. Whereas with the honeycomb stitch, it does not curl. So I thought it's a perfect one to use as our first stitch in our border stitches so that nothing gets curly on us, okay? Purl, simple, purl. Now, I am looking at my hands. I was going to say you can't see my hands. All right, I'm going to pull this back a bit and see if it's making, because I don't get to control this camera as much as I'd like. And I was about to say, I can see the chat out of the corner of my eye easier than I can see my on screen. So if for whatever reason and my hands drop off screen, please let me know. And I'll go back and either redo it, or if it's something that needs to be redone, or I'll reposition my hands. Like, while being able to use my iPhone as a continuity camera for this is an awesome thing, not being able to control that it zooms in and out is actually a bit frustrating. So, yeah. A pearl. Pearl. Oh, the other thing is if you are reading the chart, we start at the bottom right-hand side. I have labeled the row numbers. So you can see this is row 1. But you start on the right and you go to the left, just to make it clear. Is there not an app for that? Not as far as I'm aware, Bianca. I would love to know about it if there is one, but all the research I've seen says no. It's one of those things where Apple just wants you to just go with, oh, don't you love how we do it? No, the answer is no. What about you lefties?
Not sure I understand.
Well, I'm not talking to you as why. For the lefties, I would say it's a pretty, like in this particular instance, it's a pretty symmetrical pattern. So I don't think it'll make any difference. Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's, I actually don't know of, I know there's tips for reading project charts for lefties and I cannot think of it off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Sally. One thing I do want to point out is when you are doing this left hand chain and stitch, you need to make sure they're quite loose so you don't end up with one side really tight. Sally, would you normally read a chart from right to left or left to right? Let me know in the chat because it's the same as whatever you would normally do. But yeah, I just don't know off the top of my head. I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't follow charts anyway for the reason being a lefty. Yeah, I think that I don't know the answer, Sally. I'm really sorry. And I don't mean to be exclusive or excluding lefties. But this particular pattern is very symmetrical. So so that means that it should work either way. Should be the operative word. But there is the written instructions there for you as well. So, yeah. I don't know the answers, Sal. I'm sorry. I should know the answer. I just don't. Alrighty, we are on to row 2, which we have our hook on the loop on the hook, I should say. And then we're going to do a purl stitch first. And we need to make sure we get into this first loop here. So sometimes they get a bit snuggy up close there. This is the one we want. This guy right here. That's our first stitch. So sometimes you need to give it a little pull apart just to see where everything's at. So we need to do our purl stitch first. So generally speaking, just like for honeycomb, you stack your pearls on your knits or your pearls on your simple stitch and your simple stitch on your pearls. Now we're going to be doing the same thing, purling and knitting for, I think it's 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 rows all the way across. So yeah. Holly, it's good to see you. For those just jumping in and joining us, the pattern that we are working on is in the description. You can jump over to Ravelry and download it. And go from there. We've just started. I had a little bit of housekeeping at the start. Oops. What am I doing here? I think I've flipped it. So purl, knit, purl, knit, no. Okay. No, I've done something wrong. Somehow I'm purling on top of knits. Sorry, knitting on top of knits. I must have botched something up on the previous row. All right, I'm going to keep going ahead correctly. Are there any Tunisian apps for mobiles that anyone can recommend? I don't know. Oh, Bianca, me too. I wish you could correct a crochet stitch in a previous round like you can with knitting. I keep having to unravel rounds and rounds of work. I know. I'm looking at this and I'm wishing I could go back and fix a previous row without having to pull the whole lot out. But actually, you know what? I'm not going to be able to leave it. It is going to do my head in. So I am going to go back and fix that because I don't know what I've done wrong. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. I don't know. I'm just going to just pull it back and do my first row again. Sorry, guys. You can continue on. You know where you're at. Just need to pull that loop through there. Okay. So then we start with, I'm just going to go back here. Simple. You don't want to know how many times I had to restart when I was designing this. Oh, sorry. I was so focused on trying to fix the problem, I forgot to put my hands in front of the camera. Okay. How's everyone going? Did any of you have to pull out your first row or just me? Now we do finish on a simple stitch as well. And then we go in and do our standard, pick up our 2 loops. All right, I'm going to do a quick count and double check I'm still right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So yarn over, draw through a loop. Yarn over, draw through 2. Sally, I'm using Knit Picks Dishy and a 6mm hook right now. But you can use, I would say a DK or a worsted weight would probably, like, especially for this 33 stitch repeat, DK or worsted weight are the way to go. But on Ravelry, I'll go in and put more information in after the stream. I wanted to keep it a little bit like mysterious. Oh, thank you. I actually don't know which colored dishy it is, but it really is. It's a beautiful rosy pink. All right. We've done the row again. I deserve a coffee. All right, row 2. Back to row 2. We start with the pearl. Pearl. Simple. Pearl. Simple. Alrighty. Okay, we are nearly, well, I'm nearly at the end of row 2. And then at the last stitch, we add in here at the end where we grab the 2 loops. Okay. Just do a count, double check real good. Hey, Ruth Young. It's great to see you. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, and 3. Yay! All right, so we need to make sure that we are making this end stitch not too tight compared to the rest. So draw through 1 loop and then draw through 2. And for our return pass, we draw through 2 all the way to the bottom of the jar. And we're nearly back at the end. Okay, we have completed row 2. Now we're up to row 3. Okay, and row 3 is starting with a simple stitch. So we just give it a little jiggery to work out where that first one goes into. Go into our simple stitch. And then our pearl. Now this is where it starts to get a little easier to see where you're going. So Ruth, what I'm using is I'm using one of the Catch Hooks interchangeable Tunisian hooks, but sheerly, because of the size of the project, I have taken the cable off because there's a cable. That was the cable I was using. I took the cable off and just shoved a little needle protector on the end. So it's got the spot to add in a Knit Pro cable to make it like lots and lots of length. But because this is only quite short, I'm just shoving this back on because it's only quite short, I don't need all the additional length. So I'm just using like, so it's a longer hook. These are quite long. If you are using more where are they? Oh, there it is. If you're using more like the ones that we've been getting from AliExpress, they are a bit shorter. So you may have to use your cable. But if you're using an inline hook and it's got a little bit of length to it, you should probably be able to get away without popping a cable on it. But technically speaking, you know, you can use whatever you want, really. As long as it doesn't have, like, you know, a handle or a grip or something, because then you can only put like 3 stitches on. But if you've got like an inline hook, you should be good. Vampire says, oh my God, I'm so over my neighbor's renovations. 3 weeks of hammering and drilling and electric saws drowning out everything I'm watching. Can't do anything about it as it's between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Look, we had an issue with our neighbors and hello noise cancelling headphones connected to the TV. It's all I can recommend. It saved me. And another instance of time where we actually, all 3 of us had noise cancelling headphones on just walking around the house is when we had the rain. Like we had like a flooding incident, but it was from rain coming in through the roof. The gutters, there was drum with the gutters and they'd backfilled into the house and down into an internal wall that had all power points and stuff on it. And so they had to actually disconnect the power off that wall and like like they brought in these 3 massive dryers, like big ginormous air hair dryers basically, but enormous, and they sat on the floor and they had to stay on for like a week, all night and all day. You couldn't turn them off, and they were so loud that we all just lived in noise cancelling headphones. Angela says, I'm kind of lurking today as I'm cleaning and purging and organizing my happy corner space. Oh, that actually sounds like a fun thing to do. Pearl, let me just see. Simple pearl, simple pearl, simple pearl, simple and pearl. All the way across. Now, let me know in the chat, are you a graph person or are you a written instructions person? Neither is right or wrong. I'm just curious, different people find different things easier to track and follow. The pattern does have both. I'm just curious if I end up writing a chart just myself is really what it boiled down to. Oh my God. We had that when a pipe burst and we had to turn them off at night because it was the floor in our bedroom and the blowers were trying to turn. No, oh, well, luckily, I mean, there was one that was set up about 3 or 4 meters from the side of my bed, but we had to leave them on all night. So we just lived in noise cancelling headphones whenever we were in the house. We actually kept them at the front door when they weren't on charge because the second we walked in, we'd just put them straight on. And the pets spent a lot of time outside. They didn't want to be inside, which can't blame them, really. Can't blame them. All right, now I've got to count again. I know some of you trust yourselves. I don't trust myself. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. And what'll happen is I'll be like, oh my gosh, I've gotten it right so many times. I'm going to stop doing it. And the second I stop doing it, it's going to be a problem. Bianca says she likes a chart. Yeah, I'm a bit of a chart fan. Knitspin Girls likes the graphs as well. Awesome. Leanne says, I love both and I'm stuck with too many words. I can get confused if provided I can check the chart. Oh, look, Sally, I'm with you on this one. I really wish I could, if anybody's got anything for me to read about iPhone continuity cameras, all right? Because that's what we're dealing with here. It's a continuity camera issue. You know what? I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna do something. I'm going to grab a cable. Let me grab a cable because I'm not moving it all around the place. I might be able to bring it in like I do the Louis cam. All right, like, but I can't use the Louis cam's cable because it's an iPhone cable. What do I need here? I need a USB-C to USB. Like, oh here, like check out this is my bag of cables. So I just need to find a USB-C to USB-C because I'm actually going to steal the Louis cam slot. Oh, please be decent enough for this to work, because not all cables are created equal. Some are like, this is a nice long cable and it looks really pretty, but then the quality will be awful. Okay, let's try this. All right. Okay, now bear with me. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to duplicate this feed. Alrighty, I would like to duplicate that. There we go. Okay, this one needs to be, it's not connecting to the iPad now. Oh my gosh. How frustrating. Oh no, there it is. There it is. iPad. No, it's not happy. It's not happy, Jan. Let me unplug that iPad. There we go. All right, so I can't connect that into the same hub. What else can I unplug? What can I unplug that won't destroy the world? I can unplug you, maybe. Let's see. We'll see. Maybe it will work. Maybe it won't. Okay. Well, for a start, it's not destroying anything. So let's disconnect the continuity camera. We want to go. Sorry, I have turned off that background. Oh, it's. Stop it. Disconnect. I want to go to the standard camera. I get to be in control. And then we go. No, it's trying to take over. I think it is. It's trying to take over with the continuity cam. That's kind of hilarious. Let's see what we've got here. We'll see if this works a bit better. This is so interesting. Let me see. Can I zoom? No, I have control mostly. I don't have 100% of control, but I do have some control. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Let's have a look here. I am more of a written instructions girly, but I do like to have a chart on hand if needed. Yeah. Benfia says charts like yours are fine. Oh, Ruth, in the description is a link to the Ravelry pattern, and you can download it from there. That's a lot better. I agree. The catch is it does have to be connected with a cable for this, whereas before it didn't have to be a cable. So hopefully this works for us. And hopefully I get to just be a bit more controlling of it. I would, however, like to cool it down a little. Now let me. Oh wait, that's Louise. Yeah, it's not going to let me control any of the color temperature. I am so controlling. Oh, I know. I know. I want to be in charge. All right, yarn over, draw through 1 and draw through 2 all the way across. The other advantage is now I can see it on my phone screen as well. Whereas before I couldn't see it on my phone screen. It was a black screen. So I can see if I'm in the camera shot. I mean, I don't get the whole, you know, this is not giving the whole shot here, but it's giving the middle of it. But, you know, it's better than nothing. It's better, all right? It's not perfect. It's just better, all right? I'm like, oh, man. Okay. Because while I liked the extreme close-up of the other one, I didn't like that it just would, like, randomly go off and focus on something else. Like, oh, I'm going to go look at that keyboard now. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Like, oh, yeah, I'm bored with the yarn and the hook. Let's go over here. Oh, dear. Oh, thank you, Leanne, for dropping the link into the pattern. So the pattern is free, and these tutorials and videos for, like, the last 3 live streams where we've learned all the stitches, they're all free. But if you feel like you want to, you can buy me a coffee or drop a super chat or whatever it is that you want to do. All right, we are on to, or I'm on to the 4th row, starting with a purl stitch. Louie's back. Hello, big boy Louie. Look, mate, I don't know if your camera's going to work now because I've just jiggery-pokeryed the entire world and split that stitch to death. Let's try again. What am I doing? I need to do a purl stitch, and I didn't do a purl stitch. The pattern very clearly states purl stitch, Chantel. All right, let's see. Let's see. Can we also have Louie? No. No, it only lets so many plugged in cameras work. I'm sorry, Louie. We sacrificed you. Hang on, look. You guys can just check him out. Louie, good morning. I stole your camera link from my camera link. I'm very sorry. Okay, that's it. That's all of the Louie you're going to get to see. Dolores, it's great to see you. Oh, Sal's dropping in the things. Ludicrous speed. It was a little bit quick, sorry. If you haven't been in one of these chats for a while, you might maybe not know some of the new cool tools that I have added in for you to use. So if you use exclamation list in the chat, it'll give you a list of all the different things that you can do. My screen's going dark here. I'm like, oh, is that, yep, it's still working, everything. It'll give you a list of all the different fun things that you can put on the screen. Oh, no, it did. It went to sleep. Stop that. I don't want you to ever go to sleep again. How do I make it never go to sleep? I have to tap the screen on occasion. Leanne, you've got a space there for that hydrate, so that's not going to work. No spaces. There we go. Oh, I've botched it. I can see where I did it too. Go back. I've got 2 pearls next to each other. There we go. Simple pearl. Simple pearl. I'm the princess. You guys are having some fun over here, I can see. Oh, note to self, don't tap on the things on the screen. It makes it, stop it. It makes it so you see it. I was just trying to make it not go to sleep. Jensen is the princess. I'm the princess. All right, let's do a count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 32, 33. Yay. And I sort of like, I'm not sure if you noticed me do it, but I kind of pull that down a little bit before I start with the first chain over. And then I make that chain a little bit loose as well. Just so that I don't end up like pulling, this bit doesn't get like super bunched up. So the sides are a bit more even. Alrighty, and then we are on to the last row of this section. Sorry, my wrist keeps banging the box that the camera's on. All right, row 5. Now you can also tell which row you're on by counting the side here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm starting the 5th row now, and it counts the foundation row. So it's a number of rows plus 1 for the foundation row. So I am starting the 5th row or 6th row if you count the foundation row as row 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now onto the 6th, but the 5th row of the pattern. Okay, so in here we're going to be going, so it's like foundation row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the easiest way to remember it, isn't it? Simple stitch, then purl stitch, then simple stitch, then purl stitch, then simple, then now you've gotten to a point in the pattern here where I'm going to just hold it up a bit closer for you to see something. But you can you're starting to see where you're up to with the different sections now. So we've just done the purl stitch here. Oops, don't go to sleep. We've just done a purl stitch here into this knitted stitch. This one here is a purl stitch because it's got the bar across it. So we need to put a simple stitch in there, and then that one there has no bar. See the little bar there? That one doesn't have it, so that's a simple stitch, so it'll need a purl stitch. And that one has a bar, so it'll need a simple stitch because we're working the simples into the pearls and the pearls into the simples. So what am I doing here? I'm gonna purl. I need a simple stitch. Francis has made it back in time for the second half. Come on, Francis. Well done. Francis, you can find the pattern in the description over on Ravelry, or you can just search up Chantel Hills on Ravelry and my very few patterns will come up. It's the one with no photo. Why does it have no photo? Because I didn't want to spoil it before the stream if somebody happened to come across it early. So I will show us the finished project in just a second. The camera here keeps going to sleep because I've got it set so that it doesn't use up the battery. I'm going to need to change that setting because I think I'm going to get real grumpy real soon with it. And then when we get to the end, we have a count because I have to count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. And it went to sleep again. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to jump us over onto another screen for a second. No, not that one. There we go. And I'm going to see if I can't turn the go to sleep mode off. So give me a second while I have a dig through the settings. Settings. Battery. No. Camera. Don't know how to not turn it off. Has anyone got an iPhone and they know how to not make it go to sleep? I want to make it so it doesn't go to sleep. So it's like always on. Let me have a look here. Oh, Emma says I had to go and check on my neighbor after her personal alarm went off. Oh my gosh, is she? Oh, false alarm. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Screen time. No, I don't think that's it. Oh my God, why is this so hard? Like, does anyone know what I'm looking? I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Oh dear. I'm just gonna have to just keep in display and brightness. Okay. All right, so in settings, under display and brightness, auto lock every 30 seconds, never. Always on. Okay, we'll see if this helps. Alrighty. Let's see if that makes a difference. We'll soon find out, won't we? We'll soon find out. Alrighty, let's keep going. We're on our pullback row of our 5th row here. So, oops, I've put that in a position where I can't see my hands. Go me. Yarn over, draw through 1. Oh, hang on a second. Look what I just spotted there. I've given myself a little extra extra yarn over there. Let me just see if what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing there. All right, yarn over, draw through 1, draw through 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll see if it's if it keeps turning itself off. It's plugged in. The battery shouldn't die. It should technically be charging. Such a pro, right? You guys are so understanding of me testing and trialing all these different ways to get good camera angles and see if they work longer than 5 minutes. Because you test something and you're like, yep, that works. And it's not until, you know, you go in and realize, oh, wait a second, that's not going to work because of X, Y, and Z. That one needs to be on there as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I am on row 6, and row 6 is the start of the actual inner section of the pattern. So let's grab the pattern here. So come in under there. Row 6 is in here. So we need to do our honeycomb and a couple of knit stitches, because the knit stitches are a border around the whole thing. And we knit a couple of rows of knits all the way across and then more honeycombs. So that's what we're up to now. I'm just like, it's pretty dry. I could probably take the pins out and just have it sitting in the background. Oh, throw a pin at myself. Good job, mate. There we go. Where are we going to put you? Pins can just sit there. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, so this is the finished jobby. And we're up to this row here. Alrighty. So we need to do, our first stitch is a pearl. Then a knit. And a pearl. Then a knit. And a pearl. So 2, 4, 5, and then a knit. Or a simple stitch, I should say. All right, so it's 2, 4, 6, 7. So it's the loop on the hook plus 6 in pattern, and then we go across 19 stitches of knit stitches. So these are our first knit stitches in this particular project. So just as a reminder, to get a knit stitch, you go in through the front and all the way through the back and draw the loop up. So in through the front. So I'm not sure if you can see how you got to kind of go between the two legs, but all the way through. Whereas a simple stitch is across, a knit stitch is all the way through the back. So 2, 4, 6, 7, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we can just do a double check. So we need 7. So 6 plus the extra one at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the one at the end. So we're in the right spot. And then we start back with a simple stitch. So simple, pearl, simple, pearl, simple, pearl. And then our stitch at the end, just through both loops. Pull that up so it's a bit long. All right, now let's have a count. Sorry, you're probably going to get sick of me counting every single row. 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then yarn over draws through 1. Yarn over draws through 2. All the way to the bottom of the jar. All right, that's our return pass back. To get an idea of how much yarn we use for this, this guy here didn't use a full 50-gram DK ball. There's still about sort of 10 grams left. So this larger one will probably use, because both of mine have both been DK. If I had thought about it, I probably would have used a worsted weight and a DK weight so I could measure them, but I didn't, because have you met me? I just wanted mine in pretty colors. I forgot about the different yarn weights. Okay, so we finished row 6, and now we're on to row 7. Okay. I'm going to have another sip of my coffee. I think it's just about done. Alrighty. That coffee is over. Move it away. Whoops. Just about splashed the tea because of the cable connector. Tea is still hot and good. I love Yeti. Honestly, I wish Yeti could sponsor me. I love using their stuff. All right. Simple stitch to start with. Simple. Pearl. Simple. Pearl. Simple. And pearl. Now in this row, we again, so basically until we get to basically this point from the end of the project, we'll just be doing the border width of the honeycombs. So just like here, how it's the border of the honeycomb all the way around it. And then we have knit stitches bordering simple stitch blocks. Okay. So we've got one more row of the knit stitch border. Excuse me, sorry. All right, so we've got our 2, 4, 6, 7. So we're into our 19 knit stitch border. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, once I start getting a little bit more of the project on the hook, for whatever reason, I feel that I just move a little quicker. I don't know why. I don't understand the logic behind it. It's just how it is. Okay, let me have a look where I'm up to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alrighty. I am ready to start doing the other side's honeycomb stitch. So I need to go pearl, simple, pearl, simple, pearl, and ending on a simple. Okay, and then we pick up our 2 off the side. Draw that through so it's tall. Do our quick count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 33. Okay. I'm thinking the pear and the ginger jam. Just pear and ginger to me sounds amazing. All right. Now we need to do our pullback row. So yarn over, draw through 1, keeping that first one particularly loose. All right, because otherwise you end up with a shonky edge on your face washer or project, or whatever it is that you're making. Yes, the knit stitches have less height and more density. So let me just do this return pass, and then I'll show you the back of this project. Now I was able to block it out a little, so it pulled the knit stitches a little, but not too much. But they're definitely bulkier. So, you know, while technically you're using the same size hook, you would think you'll get the same size stitch. A lot more of it goes into the back. So let me just finish up this return pass. All right, now we'll be moving on to our blocks in a second, but you can see here, guess which ones are the knit stitches? I'll give you 14 guesses. And you can, like, there's totally difference in the stitch height. Like, there's so much more of it on the back than on the front. I think that they are a shorter stitch, but one of the reasons why I particularly like using them, especially in the middle of a washer, is quite often your washers become misshapen. This will help pull it all back in a little bit. But yeah, there's way more. Yeah, it's the raised ones. That's right. It's these lines here. So yeah, it's the raised ones. Alrighty, now we are into our first row of the first set of boxes. So see how we've got our boxes here? We are moving on to this row here. We've done our knit border. Now we're moving on to a simple stitch box. So have to start with our honeycomb first. Let me look here. Make sure I'm on the right row, row 8. So purl stitch to start. Purl stitch to start, Chantel. There we go. Got to get that yarn in the front for a purl stitch. We do our 6 stitches, 7 including the yarn that was already on the hook. 2, 4, 6, and 1 more, 7. Then we do 2 knit stitches. This is creating the border that will go up the sides. All right, now we're into some simple stitch boxing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 simple stitches. Okay, so the simple stitches just come across like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yep. And then we do the center border here. So we want 3 knit stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And then we want one of my hairs. And then we want another 6 simple stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we want 2 more knit stitches. So all the way to the back. Bye, Vampire. And then we should have our, I don't know why it's jumping like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the one at the end is 7. So back into our normal thing. So our normal honeycomb. So simple, then pearl, then simple, then pearl, simple, and pearl. And then a little end one where we pull it up to match the height. Yarn over, draw through 1. Whoops, I forgot to count. I'll count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. And yarn over, draw through 2. I've already done the draw through 1 before I started counting. And then all the way to the bottom of the jar. Now, if you could do this row on the pattern, this is the most concentrated, convoluted part of the pattern because it's the 3 different sections. It's the honeycomb, it is the knit stitch borders, and it's the simple stitch boxes all at the same time. So if you can do this row and follow the instructions up to this point, you have now done everything, including the most convoluted section. Okay. So now it's time for you to lean back and get into it because everything from here on is either the same or easier. Okay? It's either the same or easier. So we're moving up to row 9. Come on, row 9. There we go. I'd like to highlight the whole row. Stop that. There we go. We're on to our second row of this. I might just do that. Okay. Now, row 9 starts with the simple stitch. So in with the simple. And then pearl. Simple. Pearl. Simple. I think 2, 4, 6, 7. All right, and then we have our 2 knit stitches, knit, knit, and then into our box again. So simple across 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we knit stitch 3. 1, 2, 3. Then simple stitch 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we knit stitch 2, knit and knit, and then we honeycomb 7. So our honeycomb starts here on a purl stitch. So purl, and then sometimes your simple stitch sort of gets shrunk down. You kind of got to pull it out, or the previous purl stitch was pulled tight or whatever reasons. Sometimes you've got to give it a bit of jiggery pokery to find your loops. Alrighty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then our 2 loops at the end. Pull that up so it matches in height, and then count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yarn over, draw through 1. And our return passes the draw through 2s all the way to the bottom of the jar. how you were going with this. Is it too complex? I tried to keep it interesting, encompass all the things that we've learnt, and write instructions for it as best I could. As somebody who is not a designer, I would, any kind feedback, don't be mean, but any kind feedback, I would take. Constructive criticism I'm all right with, but just keep in mind I'm not a designer and I don't purport to be a designer. There are phenomenal designers out there. I'm just trying to show you how to do a technique and put it all together in one little project. Okay. Sitting here looking at my organised yarn and listening to the super bad storm raging outside. We are under severe thunderstorm tornado warnings. Oh my goodness. That sounds terrifying. It really does. Okay. Can I zoom out any more? There we go. Alrighty. Now we are on to row 10. Okay. We're doing, I was hoping we would get to at least row 9. So anything here is bonus. So let's get row 10 done. So we start with a purl stitch. Purl. Simple. Purl. Let me just do a quick count here. 2, 4, 6. Finish on a simple. That's our 7. Then we knit 2. Then we simple stitch 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, then we knit 3. 1, 2, 3, and then simple stitch 6. Dolores says, loving this, thank you. I'm even catching on, having started late. I've lost a stitch though, now to work out where. Good chance he's in here somewhere. That's where I tend to lose my stitches. That's why I was like, you've really got to pull it at the start and double check, which is one of the reasons why I was so like, you see how like I've got all the stitch names written in this graph over here, like they're all written there. I've got it with words and without words. That's because I kept losing stitches. And so that tends to be where I lose them, is in this first stitch. I either skip it entirely, but yeah, that's why I count the stitches every single row as well. Let's have a look here. 1, 2, 3. All right, simple stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bob Curran, it's so good to see you. 6. And then we knit stitch 2. And then we go back in and check where we need to. We start this one with a simple stitch. And then purl. Simple stitch. And purl. Simple stitch. And also just double checking this last one here. Sometimes he gets a bit caught up as well. So you kind of give it a little pull and then you find it. And then purl. And then the last one here is, there we go. Oh, Deb says, I've spent the morning culling and tidying my craft room. So I'm starving, heading off to find some food. Oh, nice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. Now, Knit Spin Girls, when I was designing this and putting it together, I had to restart it about, I want to say 5 or 6 times. Now, part of it was because the first time I forgot to start documenting it. The second time I decided to start doing the chart at the same time and realized I was doing different things in the chart. But then the third, fourth, and fifth time was just because I was messing up something with the honeycomb stitch. I was purling into the pearls rather than knitting into, just, the drill. So please don't feel like, you're alone. I totally screwed it up. I don't know how many times. And there's a risk I'm going to screw it up here live on camera again. Like that first row I had to pull back and redo at the start of the stream because I somehow botched it up. The other thing is you've got to be really careful that you are drawing through 2 loops. That can change your count as well. And how I tell if I've got the right one is I'll yarn over, and when you draw through one, it's like it makes a little chain, but then once you draw through the second one, you've got the standing loop. And that's how I double check I've got the right one. So you yarn through, draw through, 1 is the little chain and 2 is the loop. Now it's easy enough just to draw through 2, right? But if for some reason you get part of the way through or whatever reason, that's basically what you're doing. Alrighty, I'm on to row 11, which is more of the same. More of this boxed off section in the middle. I'm gonna have some tea here. For lunch today, I have left over. I made a chicken coconut curry in the slow cooker yesterday. I got some of that for lunch today. It was very nice. And I've served it with some broccolini and rice. And I'm hoping it's just as good heated up the next day because it was really, really good last night. I really enjoyed it. Oh, Bub Curran, that must be so hard to do. I'm so sorry, Bub. Your whole life is changing. Making sure I was supposed to start with a simple stitch, so good. 2, 4, 6, 7. Then we do 2 knit stitch, 1 and 2, and then we do 6 simple stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 3 knit stitch, 1, 2, and 3, and 6 simple stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 knit stitch, 1, 2, and then onto the honeycomb, starting with a purl stitch, purl, knit, no, simple, purl and simple, and purl and simple, and then we do our end stitch, bring him up to the same height, and then a count, because why not? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, yarn over, draw through the first loop, and then yarn over, draw through 2, draw through 2, draw through 2, all the way to the bottom of the jar. Does anyone know that reference? I've realised I've said it a lot. It might be an Australian thing. It's an Australian ad on television. Oh, Leanne is making roasted pumpkin soup for lunch. Oh, sounds amazing. I would say all the way to the bottom of the jar. Alrighty, I am up to row 12, which is the final row of this current box. So we start with a purl stitch, purl, simple. We've got our block of 7 stitches that we need to get through here. Two, 4, 6, 7, then 2 knit stitches, then our 6 simple stitches, and then I've got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more is 6, and then 3 knit stitches, 1, 2, and 3. And then 6 simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 knit stitches, 1 and 2, and then back to our honeycomb. We start in a simple, purl, simple. Oh, hang on, I've done something janky there. I mixed up the order somehow. Let me just double check it. Simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, and purl. And then through the 2 at the end, pull it up, do a count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Yarn over, draw through 1. Just do our return pass. Oh no, Bob. And are you still staying in the area, or are you moving further afield? Okay, now we are on to row 13. And it's the first of the borders. So it's here. It's in this section here. So row 13 is this row here. So we've completed this box and this box. Now we're going to do this little border section and then do the same things over again 2 more times. So we'll keep going. Okay. And I mean, I'm not sure if, can you see the difference there? Excuse me, between worsted weight and a 6mm hook versus DK weight and a 5.5mm hook. Like there's like, let me just, there you go. It's like an extra couple of stitches on each side. I might do it the other way actually, because then you get to see the height too. Yeah. Bit of a difference. Oh yeah, time shifting for those of you that are in the southern states. Remember that our 10 a.m. streams will be back to 10 a.m. for you, not at 11. All right, simple stitch and purl and simple and purl and simple and purl. 2, 4, 6, and 7. Then we've got our 2 knit stitches, knit and knit, except we're knitting all the way over now. So we've got our 19 knit stitches in total all the way across to where we start our honeycomb again. Oh yeah, 9:30 for South Australia, not 10:30. That's right. But it'll be back to 10 instead of 11 for Victoria and New South Wales. But for us Queenslanders, nothing's changing. Still the same. Okay, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, yep. And then it's purl here after our 19 knits. It's purl. Then splitty, split, split. 8, 8. Stop that. Simple. Purl. Simple. Purl. And simple. And then pick up our last stitch. Make it long. Well, I mean, it's a long way, but it's not Brisbane. Do you know what I mean? But I'm glad he got a placement. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 1, 2, 3. All right, then we do our return pass or our pullback. Like, did I jank something up there? But no, it's a difference between the knit stitches and the honeycomb stitches, because the knit stitches are a lot shorter. Alrighty, row 14 is the same again. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back over to our terrible camera. For whatever reason, it's being terrible. It's terrible. So basically, following along with what we've done so far this morning, you will absolutely be able to get from here, which is where we're up to here. Because it's just the same things repeated over and over. There's nothing new. It's the same things repeated over and over. And then at the end, it's just our standard slip stitch cast off that we have learned as a group in all of the videos. But I did it in pattern, okay? So what that means is I set it up like I was going to purl a stitch and then slip stitched it, and then simple stitched and then slip stitched it. And that's how I got it to be. Let me just bring it back here to this close up. Nope. No, it hates me now. I went away. Come on. Seriously? Okay, so see how it's really nice and even and it matches, and it's just because it was cast off in pattern. That's all it is. Okay. That's really zoomed right in hard there, isn't it? All right. Okay, so I don't intend for next week to be the rest of the pattern. You go on your own merry journey. Excuse me, sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. You can go on in your own merry journey to finish this off now. You don't need me for the rest. Next week for our live stream, we'll be looking at the cast off if you need me to. I will have cast off, but I'll try and have something ready. Well, I'll save. I won't completely cast off. I'll save a few stitches to show, just in case, right? But I really think that if you've gotten this far, you can follow the instructions for the slip stitch cast off in pattern. Honestly, I really do. But I will be here for questions in case. And then next week, if you feel you need a border. Now, personally, I don't think we need a border on this particular one because it's how it's been done up, but some of the others might need borders. So we can have a look at how we add borders onto the others. So we can look at that for next week. But please, Leslie Ann has said here in the chat, please share your work. If you decide to do the washer, please use Ravelry and add it to Ravelry so we can have a look there. I'll be going in and adding the photos of my, probably not my first one, but this one, the green one and the pink one. I'll be adding those in as projects to get more data and information in for people to look at. But yeah, like, let me know, like, is this what you were expecting when I said I was going to be combining everything, or not? Quick question. Is there an extra stitch at the end of rows 6 and 7 in the written instructions? Let me have a look here. 6 and 7 should be ending on a purl and a simple. I'm just opening up the written instructions. 6 and 7. Let me check. So starts on a purl, ends on a simple. Let me just check it. So for row 6, starts on a purl, ends on a oh, you are right. There is an error in there. I will have a look. They should be ending on the opposite stitch. So if it starts on a purl, it should end on a purl. And if it starts on the simple, it ends on the simple. So yeah, you're right. I've botched that up. I'll have to go in and fix that. I'm very sorry. You are right. There is an error in the written instructions. I will go in and double check that and fix it and put in an update into Ravelry so you can re-download the corrected pattern. Thank you, Dolores. Thank you. But yes, as I said, please let me know anything that you find, how, you know, because I'm not a pattern writer, I'm not a designer. These are just sort of nicer notes than I would usually have written for myself. And then I added a graph because I wanted the graph for me because I'm a graph person. So thank you so much for those of you that have jumped over to Ravelry and already downloaded it. I will go in and fix this error, and hopefully it makes it easier, Dolores, like when it's actually correct. But the other thing that you can do is in the written instructions, there is the image of the graph. So you can always just have a quick double check of the graph, because I've done a full project. I've done a full project using the graph, whereas I kind of wrote the written instructions from the graph, if that's any description. I will go and double check. So rows 6 and 7. Yeah, it'll just be removed. I'll just go in and remove that. It will end on the TPS. So row 6 for that last section. So where it says TKS 19, then TSS 1, TPS 1 in brackets times 3. Then I'll just be removing that last instruction. It is times 3 for those, for row 6 and 7. It is times 3 because we want a total of 7 stitches at either side on the border. Little fingers, here we go. Give me this. We want 7 stitches, and 1 stitch is the loop on the hook that you start with, and 1 stitch is a loop on the hook that you start with, and on the other end it's the working through the 2 loops edge stitch. So it's 6 stitches of the honeycomb. So it's 3 lots of pairs. So yeah, no full page inspirational. No, there's not. Knits Fangirl. I can write one if you like. I could make it full color. So when you print it, if you're a printing person, you have to use all of your ink. No, I'm not going to do that. And that's actually a good question. Do you think I should add a photo in onto the project of this, or just leave the photos on Ravelry and leave this so that you don't have to print it out, or maybe put it on a whole separate page so you can just skip a page? Because when I print out, I just want a fast black and white print. I don't want to have to print in 11 billion colors. So yeah. Bianca wants it in the pattern. Okay, all right. Okay. But what I'll do is I'll just make it as a separate page. That is nothing that you need to print out if you're a printing person, because I just don't like. You can print it if you want, but then if you don't want to, you don't have to. So I'll have it as a separate page. I won't put important pattern information on the page with the picture, because if you don't want to print in color and you don't want to use up all your ink and you don't want to print the image because you know what you're making, yeah, all right, I'll look into that as well. I'll see what I can do there, but it'll be small. Or it could be a whole page. It could be enormous. I don't know. I'll decide later. Thank you all so much. And I will catch you all here next week. So also, please don't forget, you can write all your pattern comments over on Ravelry or in the Discord. And I'll try and make sure that it's all good and ready with your suggestions for next week as well. But in the meantime, I will just be fixing stuff, adding in the photos, updating it onto Ravelry with just so far this pickup. All right. And the future rows, because some of the rows are like, hey, just repeat this stuff. So future rows as well. You guys be good. I'll catch you later. Have an awesome one. Bye now. Thanks for watching.